Welcome to PVD POV. This week, we're so happy to have our friends and partners from the Providence Riverboat and The Landing, Kristen and Tom, with us today. Thanks so much for joining. And I know it's a busy season. We're getting ready for the holidays. And The Landing is really stocked with all of the goods for holiday shopping. So, Kristen, tell us about what you've got over there at the cafe and store.
It is. Thanks for having us today. We are fully stocked. We've got tons of merch from local vendors. We really try to keep it as local as we can. We've got everything with a little bit of a Rhode Island or a Providence flair to it. So we are ready to go for the holidays. So it's been a lot of fun. We are a full-service cafe, so we are open year-round. It is the home to Providence Riverboat as well. So we have a lot going on.
One of my favorite things about The Landing, right, is on that beautiful corner right next to Capriccio's for those Rhode Islanders. And you walk in and there's some of the most, like you said, the most Rhode Island little trinkets, like the coffee milk candle, the hats that say PVD. You've always got some merch like T-shirts and stuff. What are some of like your favorite items or some best sellers?
So our line of jewelry from our local crafters is really popular. Everyone that comes into the store during our boating season, always a lot of our business is tourism, so they all want to bring home a little piece of Rhode Island. So that stuff works really well because it's got a little bit of a Rhode Island theme to it. It's small, it can fit in their luggage, so they love that kind of jewelry. And our, like you said, our candles that are also made locally. We have a PVD and a Rhode Island and a coffee milk candle that are super popular, as well as the T-shirts and the hats that you mentioned as well. So those are really big in season. We also have our, we've expanded our line a little bit to incorporate more of a year-round gift giving. So we have a lot of resin, some ceramics, vases, lots of oyster ornaments and ring dishes that are hand-painted and decoupaged, and we've got some really cute stuff, so it's a great time to stop in.
I think Rhode Island and Providence particularly is known for its local makers and artisans. Now, how do you find the products and the artists that you're going to include at the shop?
So when I opened the store 4 years ago, I just searched on Instagram and Etsy and just sought out, I went to a lot of craft fairs and took business cards and reached out to everyone and said, do you want to stop, be a consignment artist in our store? And we got a great response. So that's really how I found everybody.
Awesome. And now, if you've ever been on the Providence Riverboat, you know that the Landing is where you stop to check in before your boat ride. And so it's kind of like this perfect little Providence afternoon, right? You get some coffee or a snack, get on the boat. Afterwards, you can do some shopping. And the Riverboat is one of our favorite things to introduce people to Providence, right? Whether we have people coming in for a convention and they've never been to the city and they're looking to do something with some of their convention friends, or we've got writers in town. We have amazing captains like Tom who give you not only a beautiful tour of the city through the waterways, but also a really good historical narrative touching all of the important things, I think, of the city. And Tom, talk about some of your favorite Providence stories over the years.
Well, there's a lot to talk about on the river, and the tour is historical, but it covers a variety of things, obviously, from modern aspects of building the park and turning Providence into the downtown we have now compared to what it was maybe when I was growing up here, to all the way back to Roger Williams and how the area was founded. My favorite stories are about the transformation of the city, how that was all, from where we are at the Landing north was covered. They just decked it over with concrete and steel and parking lots and train tracks, and it was, and that was a permanent decision. When they did that 100 plus years ago, they were like, we want to get rid of this, we don't want to look at it, let's never see it again. And the vision to do all that, Bill Werner, the architect who designed the entire thing and thought it up, he saw something else underneath all of that and said, let's pull it away and start over. And I don't know how they did that in the 1980s, but They did. And that's the river we have to work on now. And we owe them a huge debt of thanks, not just us personally for having a place to drive the boat around. That would be under concrete, 35, 40 years ago. But the city itself and the state, and it's just a different place. If you travel all around the U.S., there are places you can go on the water, but not in that intimate a setting where the city is just surrounding you,
Yeah.
and above you and around you. If you go to on the river in New York, it's just huge. The Hudson is wide. If you go in Boston, it's the harbor. But in Providence, you can go right through the middle of downtown, and you see a lot of things from that aspect and that point of view that you don't see driving around the city or walking around.
I love that you take the boat right past these buildings. I mean, people are having dinner at Cafe Nuovo and they're looking down and you're going right by on the boat.
And we can talk to them. They're close enough to have conversations with.
Right. One of my favorite facts from your tour, since I've taken it so many times, is that the river was covered up for so long that people forgot it was there. And when they went to uncover it, people were like, what do you mean? Uncover what river?
How are they going to put a river through downtown Providence? Right. That was a common reaction to the river project. It was called the River Relocation Project because they actually moved the confluence where the rivers meet. But there were many people. I was a high schooler in the 80s when they were doing all this, and people were like, how are they going to run a river through downtown? Well, the river's already there. You just don't know it. Mm-hmm. It was crazy.
One of my favorite other facts from your tour is when we're looking at the church steeple area and you're talking about how quickly it was built. I mean, is that one of the facts that you think gets the biggest rise from people on the tours?
I get a lot of disbelief. People are like, there's no way. They built it in subsections. I'm like, they couldn't build it in subsections. How would they get them up there? And they're like, oh, yeah, there's no cranes. It was done by hand by carpenters in the middle of a civil war, basically. It was the revolution had, for all intents and purposes, begun. New England was a pretty busy place in the mid-1770s, a lot of stuff going on, and they built this huge church by hand in a matter of days.
Yep. How many times do you think you've given the tour?
Oof.
Over 35 years almost.
So I haven't been here 35 years. That was Captain Joe Dempsey who founded the company, and we took it over from him in 2005.
Okay.
So I've been on the river. Next year will be my 21st season driving around doing tours. So how many hundreds of tours? I don't know.
Thousands
I bet.
Of tours.
You must give 100 plus a year, right?
Well, when we really first started out, we were doing it like 7 days a week, and it was just me. And that quickly turned into, hey, I can't talk anymore. So we backed the pedal off and started hiring other people and limiting our schedule a little bit more. But I think in the busiest times on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday, I'll do 8. I did 10 tours once, and I couldn't talk the next day.
Oh, I bet.
But 6 to 8 was a normal schedule for a long time. Now more like 6.
And you have a full schedule. You know, if you look on the Providence Riverboat website, you really expanded to include a lot of different themes. And it's my understanding you're expanding a little more to offer some more stuff for visitors. So what can people expect?
We are, and one thing that's really important to us is to collaborate with local businesses. So we have tours with the Narragansett Brewery, with Gooseneck Vineyards, with Providence Ghost Tours.
I think you've done
West Passage Oysters.
West Passage Oysters. Mm-hmm. So those have been super fun. And again, because so much of our business is tourism, people do want to experience that, Rhode Island food or Rhode Island liquor or beer. So those have been
the flavors of Rhode Island.
The flavors of Rhode Island.
Love that.
So we are going to expand on those. This fall, we also purchased a large vessel, which we're very excited about. So much of the work that we do with GoProvidence and the CVB are large groups. So we can never, our boats right now just hold 18 passengers. So it was really important to us to find a bigger vessel. We've been looking for 10 years. We finally found something in New Jersey this fall, so we're super excited to run a larger vessel out of Providence and be able to take busloads of people and larger convention groups of people and larger private charters of, corporate charters here, birthday parties, all of that type of private party. So we're very excited about that.
I love that. And as Tom was saying earlier, right, Providence, it's a major metro, but people don't realize you can come have this waterfront experience on the river in downtown Providence. You don't necessarily have to be down by the beaches to have that. So it's the best of all the worlds of Rhode Island, I think, is having this, the city, the cuisine, the beverages, the history on the water. So it's a really unique experience, I think, for people.
It is, and I find that most people don't even, especially if you're local, you think, what is there to see on the Providence River? What is the Providence River? I already know everything about Providence, and our locals always get off the boat and say to you, wow, I never knew
I learned one of the best compliments I can receive from a local is saying that they learned something new on the tour, because everyone says they know everything about where they
Right.
grew up or where they live. And unfortunately, over the years, some of the aspects of operating gearing towards locals, their opinion of the waterway is a 30 or 40-year-old opinion, like, oh, it's gross, it's polluted, it's full of trash. It's an urban environment. Trash blows in the river. I've been down on the waterfront over 20 years. I've never seen anybody throw trash in the river, so it blows enough the street. And the pollution problems that originally brought them to cover it all up have greatly abated since the Clean Water Act came into being, and we stopped polluting the waterways. There's sea life there: oysters, striped bass, bluefish, menhaden. In the winter, seals commonly. I've seen seals hauled out in Waterplace Park up on the stairs, sunning themselves in the middle of the winter. That unheard of when we were kids. A couple of years ago, we had a pod of Atlantic white-sided dolphin follow us up and down the river in the middle of the winter. Not what you expect to see in the middle of downtown Providence, but that's an aspect of how much cleaner the water really is. Are there still problems with the mud and the sand and the silt? Sure. Well, we're going to leave those alone, but the water itself, the water column, is much cleaner.
I think people would be surprised.
Very
too,
surprised, yeah.
for sure. And I learn something new every time. And I've taken your tour so many times, and I often quote you, which as a tourist professional, I probably, should know these things by heart. But I often quote you because I like the way that you put things in. That when we tour the basin and the history of the State House, and now we have Track 15 there, which I think is also amazing to have those people coming from Track 15 and everything that they're doing there through the tunnel again, especially on a WaterFire night, is really special. I wanted to talk quickly about the special tours you're doing, like the food and beverage ones. What can someone expect if they book one of those tours?
Well, I'll give you an example. We did some oyster tours with West Passage oysters the last couple of seasons, and that's worked out really, really well. So they come up with their oysters. Graham, the owner and farmer, is on the boat with our customers. He's shucking the oysters right in front of you. He's teaching you how to shuck the oysters, talking about oyster farming and tasting the oysters. And then we have Gooseneck Vineyards on the boat as well, where we're serving Prosecco and wine to go with those oysters. So that's one of the food tours that we do.
The waterways in Rhode Island have made a huge comeback as a farm-to-table source in oysters, specifically in oysters, because it's so renewable. They can grow them and bring them to market in 2.5 to 3.5 years, and it just constant stream. And all they need is water, and that's it. They don't feed them. You don't have to grow other things to feed the oysters. They just eat what's in the water column, and they grow. And having the guy who did that bring them to you and serve them to you, I don't think you get much fresher than that. And there's more than, I think there's close to 40 farms farming oysters in Rhode Island waters right now between the bay and the salt ponds, 39, I heard at last count. It's a huge resource, definitely a growing business here. And they're fresh and delicious. People love them. And it's completely sustainable. You can throw those shells back in the ocean, and it's just
no waste.
Part of the process, yeah.
That's awesome. I did take the ISCO tour last year, and that was super fun. So ISCO brought a couple of their most popular beverages, and we had a sampling, and then she made cocktails right on board. It was awesome. And it was, as I remember, it was early September, and it was like the most gorgeous weather. It's perfect.
That was for the release of one of their offerings that is infused with oysters.
Yes. Yeah, the oyster vodka that they make.
Correct.
It was a full circle moment, for sure.
Those booze cruises, we'll call them, are always super fun. We have one with Narragansett Brewery that's always a huge hit. They come on with 4.
Jim Crooks comes down, who's been there since they restarted the whole thing, and he talks about the history of the company and how they got to the point where it had gone away and how they brought it back. And he brings a sampling of their beers, which is what everyone really wants when they come on those tours. And he passes them out and talks about each one and why they brew it and how they brew it and where they brew it. And people love it. People are really happy with those. And then we have
the wine tastings
Gooseneck Vineyards, Paul and his crew down there in North Kingstown, who are doing a fantastic job. If you haven't had a chance to stop in at their facility, I highly recommend it. They've done a beautiful, beautiful piece of work there. But he comes on the boat and talks about his wines and where they come from and how he discovered them and the personal connections to meeting the owners and those kinds of things. And he is growing vines in North Kingstown. He's going to be having some local offerings as well.
Awesome. How did you decide which route to take? I know, well, there's really only one way up and down the river, but then you loop around, you go past Hot Club, and then you turn around under the hurricane barrier. Was it just like a time thing, or is that really the easiest to navigate in that size boat?
We move pretty slowly, right? It's a controlled waterway. You want to keep it calm and not be bouncing around too much. When we're looking for a tour around 55 minutes, right? We want to get people on the boat, take a tour in under an hour and get them off and not have them on there too long. There's no facilities. They're small boats. And that tour originally started, we ran out of the Hot Club area and up into the Water Place Park and back. So it was kind of up and back. That was the tour. And when we moved, we wanted to do the same tour, so we just changed the timing of where we went. And the big one, and this is also a popular one for locals, is going under the hurricane barrier and out to the harbor and coming back. Everyone's seen that and looked at it and heard about it on the news when a storm's coming, but how many people have actually gone through it who don't own their own boat? And not a lot, so that's always an impressive moment, the engineering and the size of it when you're up close.
Is it an easy river to navigate in a boat?
Driving around on the water is easy. The challenge in the Providence River is the depths. It's extremely shallow in a lot of places. So over the last 20 plus years, I've hit everything there is to hit, so I know where it all is. And that, can be distressing for new captains sometimes. You're going to bump into something there. Don't worry about it, or please stay away from that. It's a piece of granite.
Right.
As one of our captains, Zach, who doesn't work with us anymore but is still a friend of ours, someone asked him what it was like driving during WaterFire, and he said, everything you can hit is either made of granite or on fire.
Really test your skills as a
Pretty
captain.
much, yeah. And some people rise to that occasion and think this is fantastic, and other people are put off by that and move on to something else.
It is really cool, but probably shocking as a captain to see how close you come to the fires on a WaterFire ride.
Yeah, you're right in it.
You're
sometimes.
right.
Yeah, the fire is blowing across the boat.
Oh, yeah. It's all part of the experience.
It is all part of the experience. We've never had anyone catch on fire, and we've never had anyone burn. So.
Exactly. Well, like you say, when you're doing the life jacket demo at the beginning, you say, we've never had to throw one of these little life rings out, but we all know what to do just in case.
We practice it all the time. And every year with the Coast Guard on the boat. So.
Yep. What your customers, your guests are mostly out of state, or are a lot of locals taking the cruise?
We figure our clientele is about 85% tourism. So our locals tend to be more of the private charters, the corporate charters, or a date night. Our Twilight River cruises are really popular with the locals.
A lot more locals in the date nights, yeah.
Yeah. But the majority of our historic narrated tours, WaterFire, is tourism.
It's a great way to learn about the city. I do encourage locals, too, to take it because you learn something new.
You do.
Even if you've lived here your whole life, like I have. What's the craziest thing that you've seen? Has there been engagements on the boat?
Oh, yeah. We've definitely had engagements on the boat. That's not actually that it's not common, but it's not either uncommon either. A lot of people have asked, or people have rented the whole boat to take someone out and get engaged. The craziest thing I've seen in there, the dolphins were pretty crazy.
That is cool.
When you see a dolphin in the Providence River,
yeah.
It was actually when we were still doing Christmas themed boat rides with Santa Claus, and no one paid attention to Santa on that boat ride.
Of course.
Looking at the
Poor
dolphins.
Santa.
But seeing us, in the middle of the river, seeing a seal pop up sometimes really sets off. Everyone kind of stops and goes, "What was that?"
Everyone was looking for the shark that follows.
No sharks. Never seen a shark in
Good.
the river. Craziest thing.
Craziest things that we could
that you
talk
could
about.
say.
Yeah.
Well, if that's one of the craziest things, I guess that's good. Engagements and dolphins and seals.
Every once in a while, a wayward reveler ends up in the waterways somehow, not from our boats, from the side of the river. And
I've heard of those.
We have to get involved in helping them out. It's very difficult to get out of the water.
The rescue operation.
Especially if you're inebriated.
Yes. Well,
I
remember,
to climb the concrete wall or the granite wall and get out. It's not easy.
So word of advice is don't do it. I remember there was an incident at WaterFire. Someone jumped in after the bunny.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That happened right in front of us.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, the only, I do joke with people, the only man overboard we've ever done was people who weren't from our boat.
Right.
Or people from the walkway or from another boat that went in the river, and we pulled them out.
That's a good sign.
No, none of our customers ever gone in the river.
No, that's a good sign then. All right, guys, anything else you want to talk about?
Just looking forward to another great season on the water, and I hope if you're looking for a larger boat to maybe take 40 or 50 people out on, we can do that for you now. Your options have moved beyond Boston and Newport into Providence, and we're looking forward to making that offering. If you want to see the boat, it'll be down on the waterfront. It's pretty big. It's hard to miss.
That's awesome. Where can people see the boat, and when can they start signing up for these?
We are working on that schedule now and just figuring everything out as far as docking. So we're not quite there yet, but I would say by February or March, we'll have a much better idea and everything will be on the website.
Great.
So working on that, and come on down to the landing. We'd love to see you. It's a beautiful, cozy shop right in the middle of downtown. Full service cafe, and we've got all the fancy drinks. So
We love to hear it. Yeah. All right, Kristen and Tom, thank you so much.
thanks a lot.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
PVD POV is a podcast hosted by the Providence Ward Convention and Visitors Bureau in collaboration with the College of Hospitality Management and Center of Media Production at Johnson & Wales University. Hosts are Alana Cerrone-O'Hare and Nick Millard. Production by Professor Brian Lavin with assistance from the graduate students in tourism management. Episodes are available wherever you download your podcasts. Visit GoProvidence.com for more information on these stories and everything else Providence.